UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Friday night, 8 o'clock. The tallest midget in the house sitting here in this chair. I had to drop it down a little bit, Bun. Let me see. Look at it, boy. They can see the top of my head now.
Yeah, you look show.
I look real show. I look like myself. I was trying to look like, Lynn Elmore on ESPN.
That's different.
I got my glasses
Get
on.
you one of Phil Jackson chairs.
I got one of Scotty! Throw the triangle up. Mm-hmm. Well, me and Big Bun gonna sit here for 60 minutes and talk to you about the world of sports, specifically Super Bowl 43 and Fighting Illini, a little NBA we might throw in there. That swimmer, Michael Phelps. Now, we have no stat girl tonight, so if you call in, you have to be a little patient in terms of the phone being answered. But you still can call us 328-8287, 328-8287. But, Bun, I'm going to turn right to you. First of all, Super Bowl XLIII, Super Bowl 43.
First of all, I want to thank all the patrons came out Sunday to our first annual Super Bowl party at Club 45, and we had a nice crowd. We raised, I think, close to $500. We had nice, we had all our food. We had some Allens. You take some Allens away.
Right.
So people don't know what Allens is. That's them care packages.
Right.
Flying saucers, whatever you want to call them. But, I mean, it was a beautiful thing, and we raised money for the club. And, hey, we're going to try to do it again next year. Hopefully get bigger and better.
Here. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to make it to the first annual Tell Like It Is Super Bowl party and fundraiser, you get to see it Sunday, different channel. We on UPTV right now, but WCFN is channel 3 or channel 49, depending on your system. But channel 3 on your cable system, 6 o'clock Sunday, and they'll be showing some excerpts from the Super Bowl party. You'll get to see all the food that Bun ate. You'll get to see all the beverages.
I was the only one eating. Out of all the people in that building, I was the only one eating.
I'll say this.
That's why you all choked up.
Your plate, I do remember the cameraman zooming in on your plate during one of the segments.
Yeah, he got part of it.
Yeah, he got part of it. Because the full plate, you got.
Oh, yeah.
He just got part of it. Yeah, but we, like Bun said, we appreciate everybody coming out to the Super Bowl party, and I hope it becomes an annual thing. It gets bigger and better, and we raise more money for the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club. So we had a real great time. But the reason why we were there.
All right, now we got that out the way.
There you go. Let's talk some football. Super Bowl 43 is in the books. The Arizona Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Almost shocked the world.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it was one of the best Super Bowls I've seen in a long time, even including last year. Super Bowl 43, Arizona, valiant comeback down 20-7, took the lead 23-20, and then Big Ben Roethlisberger, ugliest quarterback in the NFL, did what he had to do, and he got his team over the hump. And the Steelers came out with their 6th Super Bowl in 43 Super Bowl appearances in terms of total NFL. First question I'm going to ask you, Bud, why did Pittsburgh win? Why did they win this game?
Composure. So, I mean, hey, real cats never sweat under pressure. Arizona went down, scored. Okay, there's 2:17 left on the clock. Get the ball. If we can get at least to the 20, 25-yard line, we start our drive. You got 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. So I give you 3 timeouts. All you're trying to do right now, you thinking field goal range.
Right.
So you're trying to get inside the 30 field goal range. All right. They get down. Nate, what's my man? Nate Washington took the ball to the 7, 8-yard line. Now we can win this game.
Yeah, the mindset I think did change.
It changed. The play. They flipped the playbook and said, okay, let's go to winning plays.
Right. Now, early in the game, first quarter, it looked like the way Pittsburgh was playing, this game was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
When they came out the gate, first possession, the Steelers just marched right down the field. I still think Roethlisberger scored. I didn't think his knee was down. When
he was down. He was show.
But
about that show.
NBC had
super cameras.
See it vision or whatever they call it. Where you can see a bug on a blade of grass. The second possession, they go down, and Gary Russell drives it right in, and it scores 10-0 and it looked like Arizona was real shaky. Edgerrin James put the ball on the ground. Kurt Warner was kind of fumbling around back there trying to get his feet up under him. And I really thought
kept stepping on his guard kept stepping on his feet.
Right, he was doing that stepping in the bucket. Kept stepping back in the bucket. But then, funny thing, on the way to the championship, they decided to show up with Anquan Bolden, a nice run down the field.
Yeah.
At that point, did you think, okay, did you still think we were going to have that type of ball game, or did you think the Steelers were just going to pull away with this thing?
The Steelers should have pulled away, but I think once they got the lead up there, they were happy. But the momentum changer, right before half, when the big man took the ball 100 yards and he scored. If he wasn't going to score, he was going. The first person to touch him, he was going to fall because his tank was empty.
Now, I'm glad you brought that play up. James Harrison, 15 seconds left in the half.
Yeah.
The score is 10-7. Pittsburgh.
Arizona at the 1 yard line.
They ready to score.
And what they do?
That man
pass.
Throws a slant. Now, here's what I understand. Now, I don't know how many timeouts Arizona had at that point, but you make an excellent point. They're that close to the goal line, and they're going up against the top-rated defense in the entire NFL.
That's where the 3-4 came into play.
And we talked about it the week before about how those linebackers can drop in the cover.
A 4-3, if Pittsburgh went a 4-3, they'd have scored easy. Because they would spread them out like that, quick slant. The end would have to come out there, and by the time he got out there, it's over. James Harrison, he right there.
Right.
All he got to do is step up. He steps up in the play. He gets the ball. He says, "Oh, look what I got," and it's off to the races.
Now, a lot of people talk about that being a great play by James Harrison, which it was. 100 yards, outran linemen, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, and receivers. He outran all 11 men on Arizona. But I think the key to that play, you talk about him standing up. If you got an end down on the end, by the time he reacts to come up on that,
it's too late.
Anquan Bolden's got 6, the score's 14-10 at half.
He's up.
But by that man standing up, all he had to do is take a jab step to the right. He had inside position.
They know what play they're running.
Right. Now, why didn't, when you look at the play itself, Pittsburgh had everybody coming. Basically, it was like a jailhouse blitz up the middle. Why didn't he throw the ball over the top for the fade at that point?
Hey, they've been doing it all year. You know, the old Sanford, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So they've been running them quick slants all year long. Why change it now?
So great scouting on Dick LeBeau's part and the defensive part. Now
you see the second time they scored on fade route. You know, you ain't going to get me again.
Bingo. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Shame on me.
George Bush's favorite saying.
That's right.
Now, we go to halftime. The score is 17-7 at that point. Third quarter was really nondescript. Field goal by the Steelers, and it's 20-7 going into the fourth quarter. And then that's when the fireworks erupted. But we talked about why did Pittsburgh win. If you look at the game statistics, Arizona had more yards.
Yep.
They had the time of possession was in the Steelers' favor. I think the key, and we just talked about one of them, were turnovers. Arizona's defense had created, I think, 8 or 9 turnovers throughout the playoffs. They only got 1 against the Steelers.
And another thing, penalties. Penalties hurt Arizona. You know, they had they had roughing the quarterback. They had face mask. Little small penalties like that was add up.
Yeah.
But I give them kudos to their defense, as you say, kudos. When we held them to fourth down, and they kicked a field goal and roughing the holder. So that gives them half the distance, go automatic first down. They went out there 3 plays, same 3 plays, held them again, had to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Because I think if Pittsburgh had scored right then, that'd have broke their back right. That has knocked them. But I'm going to give, if I had to grade the game, I would give Arizona defense a B+.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I have to agree with you.
They stepped up. Because you look at from the time they left New England until the Super Bowl, they've been playing okay here and there. Mm-hmm. And Jake Ladone gave them some gifts, some after Christmas gifts.
Right.
Throwing them slants and stuff. But they talked about their defense, but the defense really stepped up. They held Willie Parker less than.
He had 53 yards, I think.
Yep. And Big Ben didn't hurt him, but like I said, the X factor a couple weeks ago was Hines Ward. You saw the first play when he's sitting around, he running around, he had the ball like that. He trying to get his balance. He wasn't healthy.
He was on a.
But who killed him? Heath Miller.
Right up the seam.
Right up the seam.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Yeah, and when you look at the defense Arizona played, and we'll jump into that in terms of why did Arizona lose, I think you pointed out a couple of things. Heath Miller going up the seam at the beginning of the game because Arizona was playing the patented cover two defense.
Yep, soft.
And whenever they walk Adrian Wilson up to the into the box to stop Willie Parker in the run, when Big Ben threw over the top, he was usually singled up with a safety, and that's why with a linebacker, and that's why Heath Miller was able to move the ball down the field. Now, the other thing I think why Arizona lost the game is they didn't get as much production out of the run as they've been getting in the entire playoffs.
Couldn't because they was holding.
Yeah, and there you go. They had a lot of hold ability.
Yeah,
Arizona
them guys.
11 penalties in the Super Bowl.
Them front five, they can hold me and you.
I don't know. They hold you.
I can show you.
They ain't hold me.
I can show you some technique. Get past that. No, he don't do all that. It's simple.
Just come on up.
Yeah, swim move. Michael Phelps.
I thought you was doing Michael Jackson.
Don't do the Reggie White.
Oh, the hump.
No, club.
Oh, well, they outlawed that, didn't they?
No, boom.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the club that you put across the steering wheel.
No,
my
club.
Club, the football club.
Hey, if the referees wanted to, they could have called holding on, Arizona every play.
Right.
If you look at what's the name, Gandy, he had 2 or 3 holding penalties. I mean, he couldn't stop them front three.
Well, I had told you the week prior, I thought that Pittsburgh's key was Woodley and Harrison being able to get pressure on the outside.
I did.
Without having to blitz. And I said, if you can put pressure on Kurt Warner without blitzing, then if you can drop 7 in the coverage, it makes it tough. As you talk about those slants, he's usually working those slants off of a blitzing safety or corner coming off the edge. So he's doing his hot read. And then if he's got that hot read, you got a big receiver like Bolden or Fitzgerald. But those guys were on, as soon as he released the ball, Ike Taylor, Townsend, Palomalu, all those guys were right on top of the football.
But the thing about it, if anybody watched the game, if you're a real football fan and you really know the game, if you watched the first quarter and you saw Pittsburgh playing, the defense was playing all right. Mm-hmm. They were making tackles. But in the second quarter, it was like they whined a little tighter. Mm-hmm. And they were coming, they trying to take your head off then. And, letting you feel out the game. Because one time, if who's running back, Hightower, if he didn't sidestep Palomalu, I think he took his kneecaps off.
Oh, he came in, he had a radar lock. He looked like he had some GPS.
But he did have one fall. He had his tackle his head down. You shouldn't do that. That's a safety issue. Get your neck messed up.
Mess your neck up. Yeah. Well, but the way those guys were flying around the field. But I think the other thing, we talked about penalties. Arizona had 11 penalties in the game. The running game was really a non-factor for Arizona. Fitzgerald normally has had a big first half in all the playoff games. He was non-existent. He had no touches in the first half of the game. He broke out at the end of the third quarter. He had no touches. I think the other thing, Kurt Warner, in the first quarter, just really didn't have his rhythm going there. And the final thing, I think that the reason why Arizona lost this particular game is that once they got into that situation about we had to throw the ball, they went exclusively pass. And I made a comment to Big Wayne when the game was going on. When Fitzgerald caught that touchdown, went 64 yards, too much time was left on the clock.
Yeah. Composure.
Well, I talked
championship team, a true champion. You never see him sweat.
Right.
Hey, come on. You see Coach Tomlin over there. Yeah, when they scored, clapped his hand
and said, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Now, we saw the catch. 45 seconds left in the corner of the end zone. The ballerina, 2 toes down.
I would agree with SARS.
3 toes, 10 toes.
It didn't look like his feet was on top of each other.
Well, if you go to NFL.com.
Well, if. We already know about the ifs.
What I'm saying is if was fifth, We all be drunk.
Sure would.
But I'm saying, if you want to see the play that we're talking about, Santonio Holmes in the end zone, 45 seconds left for the winning score, when he catches that football, you see the left foot, boom, those toes hit. The right foot is behind the left foot.
Yeah.
But then when he goes to fall, them toes drag a little bit. You know, he does the Rod Tidwell.
Well, you got
show me the money.
So you got some special glasses, so
Well,
you know you might see extra.
trust
you might
me.
see through the screen.
Trust me, right now, I still see him scoring with
Well,
these
he
things.
score, hey, well.
Wait a minute, hold on. Now,
You can't see.
I can't see nothing. I'm an official now because I can't see nothing. But I'll put these back on. But Santonio Holmes, on that last drive, I think he had 5 catches. He helped march the Steelers down. He became, in the playoffs, Roethlisberger's go-to guy.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the selection of him as MVP? You know, we talk about James Harrison, 100 yards. Roethlisberger, running around looking crazy. The Steelers' defense itself. Lamar Woodley had a couple of sacks and a forced fumble. Had a lot of candidates. Do you agree with it?
Yes. I mean, game-winning touchdown, spectacular catch.
Yeah.
I mean, he rests back, and if you look at it on TV, as he's got his feet down, he's looking down to see if he's in bounds. He has the ball in bounds, no bobble, clean catch. Because you know new rules now. If he, you know, I would have forced him out. If he'd have forced him out, it'd have been no catch.
Right.
They changed the rule, but they sit there. I mean, he had 3 guys around. They sitting there watching him.
I was going, I keep going back to that play, and if you look at it, you made an excellent point there. There were three final defenders,
One in front, one on the side, one behind them.
and none of them, I saw one guy jump for the football.
That was the guy in front.
And that was it. The other guy's on the side. And then here's my other thing. They right there, basically, they had to, 5-yard line at that point, 6-yard line?
Press.
If, in fact, you got to get a pass interference penalty at any time in the game,
That's the time to
that's
get
the
one.
time. Go fly, because sometimes the official might swallow that whistle.
Yep.
You know, and let him finish the game out that way. But to let that guy go untouched, you know, but going back to Holmes himself, if you think about the San Diego game with his punt return, if you think about the Baltimore game with his reception and score for touchdown off the basically the chuck and duck that Ben Roethlisberger threw up,
Yeah.
and then in the Super Bowl, I'm gonna have to lean that I think it was a good selection. As I
Yeah.
said earlier,
He got a brand new Cadillac too.
yeah, that's right. They do get Cadillac, don't they?
Yeah,
Then he
CT.
got to go down to
Disney
Disneyland
World.
or Disney World.
But I did hear Reebok is auctioning his gloves off because his baby's son has sickle cell, so he's auctioning his gloves off for the sickle cell foundation.
Wow.
I think the bid opening like $5,000 or $6,000. So
Okay, so
if you want some gloves, go find sicklecell.com and go to Reebok.com and you can click on it and find it and bid on the gloves.
well, I tell you what. Let me get $2 to start me off, and I'll find some other people to help me out. We'll go get a bid on them gloves.
Okay.
Now,
You're going to need a whole lot. $2. Give me $2.
43 Super Bowl 43 in the books.
Pro Bowl now.
43 in the book. My question for you: all the Super Bowls you've seen in your life, was that the greatest Super Bowl ever?
No.
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 What's the greatest Super Bowl ever in your opinion?
I can't remember. It was Pittsburgh, Dallas when Jackie Smith dropped a touchdown pass.
Super Bowl 13.
Super Bowl 13.
35-31 Steelers.
Yep.
That's the greatest one for you. Mm-hmm. You know, I was talking about today on the radio, we were talking about, and I forgot about that one.
I had to be. I mean, because Roger Staubach go down, Jackie Smith sit in, he slide, and the ball hit him in the stomach and bounce out. And went to now. He got to be the sickest man in the world.
Oh, God. I know he's just torn up on the inside.
Yep.
Well, I think about, I mean, like you said, you talk about 43 Super Bowls, and I think it's tough to put your finger on one to say it's the greatest. I mean, you think back to when Tennessee, 1 yard away, Kevin Dyson,
Yeah, but-
right there against St. Louis. That was a pretty good Super Bowl.
You talking about, you know, Super Bowls is a classic. You know, you can't really put the first one, the recent ones, you can't put them in it's classic.
Yeah.
The best ever. And the second best ever, I would say, to me, is when John Taylor caught that slant route for the touchdown, and they went on to beat the
Oh, the Cincinnati
49ers.
Bengals?
beat the Bengals. That was when Tim Crumrye leg was flying up in the air like that.
Yeah, that was what was it, 16-13 or
19-20.
20 to 19?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was man, what was that, Super Bowl
18-19.
18-19.
Yep.
But I think if you, like you said, if you go to old era, new era, I think if you go to Super Bowl 10, the first Cowboys-Steelers matchup, that's when Lynn Swann made all his acrobatic catches.
The famous play stepping on that guy's chest.
Washington, after he then went down and he's still bobbling it, going down, boom, and pulled it up. So I think that one you got to throw in there.
That's when it snowed too. Tulane Stadium.
Super Bowl 5, I think that was the first one, which ended with Jim O'Brien kicking the field goal for the Colts to beat the Cowboys. So that's the old era. And then you got to throw the Jets and
Super Bowl 3.
Super Bowl 3, just due to the fact that the Jets were
Open
18 points.
Yeah, open it. Joe Namath sitting inside the pool. I guarantee we'll win.
Right.
His coach wanted to choke him.
Have you heard what they've said now in hindsight? They said that the Jets back then, watching video of the Colts, had to stop watching video because they were getting overconfident. They said Joe Namath was going around the complex saying they probably beat him by 2 touchdowns. That's how confident he was. That's why he guaranteed it. He said it was something that they saw in their defense with the quick slants that they were able to run and short hitch routes and Emerson Boozer. I'm going to throw some names out. People were like, who? You know. But I think if you fast forward, like you said, to the new era, I think I brought up the St. Louis and Tennessee, but also that St. Louis, New England, the first New England championship. I think you throw them in there. Another classic, last year's game.
Yes.
But I think the Giants, Buffalo Bills Super Bowl, when O.J. Anderson was MVP for the Giants.
Yep, they won 2019.
And I think
Norwood missed the field goal.
And if you think about it, in that Super Bowl, they talked about this the other day. Do you know Buffalo Bills only had the football 19 minutes
Yep.
of that Super Bowl? And Thurman Thomas.
That was in fact, that was Iraq War.
Exactly. And Thurman
Whitney
Thomas,
Houston sang the Star Spangled Banner.
135 yards rushing on only 15 carries in that Super Bowl. And they only had the ball 19 minutes. He would have been arguably, to me, because Chuck Howley got the Super Bowl. He's the only guy to get to the Super Bowl MVP on a losing team. That was in Super Bowl 5. I think Thurman Thomas, even though Buffalo lost that game, should have been the MVP of that Super Bowl. Because that was a performance a lot of people forget. But to go for 135 yards and only 15 carries, and they only had the ball 19 minutes. If they'd had the
In
ball.
a 60-minute game?
Right, that's what I'm saying. If they had the football 30 minutes, that dude would have been over 200 yards easy.
Yeah.
You know, that was when, and I think they make that field goal. If Scott Norwood makes that field goal, Buffalo doesn't lose any Super Bowls. I think it was a snowball effect.
They won 4 in a row.
Right. I think when they lost that game, then when they went back the next year against the Redskins, Thermo can't find his helmet.
That was the Cowboys.
Was that the Cowboys Super Bowl? Well, they got ran out the building.
They lost to all NFC East teams.
Right.
Cowboys,
Giants.
Redskins, and Giants.
You know, if the Eagles could have only been so fortunate to get there and play them, the Eagles would have been happy.
Lick their chops.
There you go.
Oh, it's guaranteed win right
Right.
here.
We might as well get a place in the trophy case. Put that trophy right here. But that's the end of the season, 2008-2009. NFL season is done. Pro Bowl, as Bun said, will be played Sunday in Hawaii. So check that out. But I'm going to come to you, Bun, because first half of the show is almost done. Super Bowl predictions. We're going to jump right into 2009.
Oh, have mercy.
Put you on the spot. already.
Claude, have mercy.
Because right now, free agency is already being talked about, player movement. Haley is gone from Arizona. Clancy Pendergrass is not going to be the defense coordinator in Arizona now. So that team, you know, Anquan Bolden, talking about he's not coming back. Larry Johnson, Kansas City may be gone. Tony Gonzalez. You know, who out of all this stuff that's already happening, and free agency starts the 1st of March, tell me right now your prediction this time next year, who'll be sitting in the Super Bowl?
It would be, hate to say it, the Dallas Cowboys. I think they'll turn it around.
Okay.
They're going to turn it around. And the AFC, it's going to be a surprise. I'm going to say the Oakland Raiders.
Oakland Raiders in the AFC.
Yep.
You know, probably last year, a couple years ago,
You smacked me.
man, I'd reach across the table and just smack you and say, go sit somewhere. Don't you ever make a prediction like that on this show.
Yeah.
But after the Arizona Cardinals
Yeah.
made it to the Super Bowl this year, and I don't care, anybody tell me now, oh, yeah, I knew the Cardinals. Nobody
you
knew.
didn't. No.
The Arizona Cardinals were one of the worst division title winners in the history of the playoffs. And then they
2
get to the
games
Super
over
Bowl.
500.
There you go. We go to the phone lines, 328-8287. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Hey guys, Big Wayne.
What's going on, Big Wayne?
Oh man, in the house, I'm not feeling too well. Sitting there watching the show. I want to ask Bundy, why doesn't this past Super Bowl fit into his criteria as one of the best ever, just because it was just played last week? And
Bun?
it had all the elements. Two coaches from another team that was fired by the previous team. The older quarterback against the young Sly Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
You know, had the great comeback by the underdog, and the big boys come back and take the lead at the end of the game. That fits to my criteria as one of the best ever.
That's your opinion. I think, to me, because when Pittsburgh played Dallas back in Super Bowl 13, it was Tony Dorsett, Robert Newhouse, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill against
Franco Harris.
Rocky Bleier, Terry Bradshaw,
Lynn Swann,
and Stallworth. And then the defense, I mean, both defenses, you had the steel curtain.
Against Doomsday.
You had the,
The question was it one of the
oh, yeah, it's one of the best. You couldn't remember it. You don't remember back that far.
Please, you're 2 years older than me, man.
Look, hey, Big Wayne, I'm telling you, it was a doomsday. It was a doomsday defense versus.
What would you say, Wayne, out of the Super Bowls that you've seen? Give me your top 5.
See, I wish I had the button. I wish I had the button to cut it off. Yeah, I wish I had the button to cut it off. I wish I had the button to cut you off because I knew you was gonna say that.
Okay,
It could be 60. It could be 65 Super Bowls played. He goes, oh, Super Bowl 20.
okay. Now excluding 85 and Super Bowl 20, name off 3 of the best Super Bowls you've seen.
Just the past two,
The past 2.
and you know, from my knowledge, like you pointed out earlier, St. Louis, Tennessee.
Okay, so those will be your top 3. Do you remember, other than that Bears in the 80s, any Super Bowls from the 80s that jump out at you?
He could watch TV back then.
Say what?
He had to be in bed by 8 o'clock.
I will agree. I will agree with you.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, the Giants football game, that was one of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go back to the 70s, man. Y'all on your own.
You ain't gonna get in the Wayback Machine with us?
No, man, you know. A few years ago, I can remember that type of stuff, man.
Hey, Big Wayne,
Yeah.
what you sick from? You ate some badger meat?
Man, no feel colitis.
Yeah, we gonna get into that in a few seconds. We gonna talk about that. But anything else?
I got mutual
I hear you.
You know what? I heard it's contagious and it's chronic.
Hey, if they bring it Sunday, the whole town will sleep.
Oh, don't say that.
I thought you had Kool-Aidism.
Yeah, well, we gonna find out Sunday. But hey, man, go ahead and get your rest on and get yourself together and give us a hit. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna sit back and watch y'all.
Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah, he said, he gave his top 3 Super Bowls.
Of course, we're going to put the Bears in there.
Well, I mean, you got your allegiance. I mean, I can't throw what hurts me more than anything.
Y'all went 4 in a row.
Went
4 times.
4 times, and I can't throw them in anywhere. And here's the thing: I watched
All of them.
all of them. All of them.
You're showing your true age.
You know, I'm only 21,
I hear you.
but Minnesota
In
Vikings.
Mama Stovall's eyes, you're 21.
I'm her baby. I'll be her baby forever. And as long as that, I don't care about nothing else. But yeah, that's like I said, prediction for 2009. I'm gonna give mine right now. You make a point about the Cowboys. I think the only problem I have with the Cowboys is that Wade Phillips just doesn't seem like a championship coach. If you look at
He's not the coach of the team. The coach of the team is Jerry Jones.
I know, and Jerry Jones.
And speaking of that, Dan Reeves just quit today.
Well, he didn't quit. He just never got a contract. He worked for 2 days.
Yeah, he talking about Jerry Jones talking about he needed his hours and how much time he put in. Come on, man, that's an old school coach right there.
Dan Reeves been around this league longer than Jerry Jones, and he goes, and that's the reason now with something like that, with Dan Reeves, a Hall of Fame player and coach, and you can't get him in. That's the reason why I can't. I like the Cowboys' talent, but it's the organization, and because of that
I think
organization,
Ray coming too.
I can't go with them. In the AFC, first of all, I'm gonna go to AFC, then I'm gonna come back to the NFC. In the AFC right now, if you're looking at a team, the Steelers, I mean, odds on to repeat, but I think a lot of people are forgetting about New England and the fact that Tom Brady does come back. And
They gonna have controversy in camp.
I don't know if they're gonna have any controversy.
I mean, they got a man franchise.
I think, but here's why they're franchising.
Oh, they gonna get some chips.
Right. And 2 first-round draft picks if somebody want that boy. You want him bad enough? I mean, that's a great insurance policy.
That's true.
But here's the other thing. If I'm Matt Castle, man, Matt Castle, he let him touch my hand so I can go buy a lottery ticket. Mm-hmm. Last time Matt Castle started a football game was 1999. Now he in line to make $14.5 million
Yep.
to be franchised.
Never started in college.
Never.
He was a cleanup man in college
And didn't get to clean up.
behind Palmer,
And Leinart.
Leinart.
And now look at it. He going to make more money than either one of them.
And was it Booty too, wasn't he?
No, he was gone when Booty came here.
Okay.
But back to the prediction. In the AFC, I think the Steelers will still be the odds-on favorite to beat. Big Ben's young. Holmes is young. Mendenhall comes back along with Willie Parker. The defense is young. Free agency is not a thing that affects the Steelers. They just take people and just plug them in.
Yep.
You never see the Steelers, and that's one of the things I think why that organization is successful. When free agency is going on and somebody goes out and spends $57 million for one player,
Yep.
you never hear the Steelers do that. They just, okay, you're leaving.
Porter left.
Joey Porter left. Plaxico was a Steeler.
Greg Lloyd.
You know, all those guys, they just wave them goodbye and say, hey, good luck to you. They bring somebody else in and fill this spot. James Harrison, undrafted.
Yep.
Now he's the defensive player of the year. When it comes time for his money, they may pay him a little bit, but if he wants more than that, thanks for participating. We'll bring somebody else in your spot. But I think in the AFC, I think you'll stick with the Steelers 1. I think, as I said, New England may be 2. Don't forget about the Colts and what's going to happen there. I know Tony Dungy's gone there, but those would probably be my 3 teams there. San Diego, the window will close on them. I think LT, he's done. You know, Oakland, depending on what Jamarcus Russell does. You know,
I mean, they finally got a coach now. I mean, it's to me, they could have been. That was one of my surprise teams last year, but I mean, they faded out. I mean, because then you had what's my man McFadden? He got hurt a couple
Right.
games, and then all these guys they brought in, and you know they didn't pan out. So I guess just Al Davis said, "Okay, I'm gonna write you a check and send you on your way."
yeah. Now, in the NFC, if you look at the NFC, think about some of the things that happened this year. The NFC South was probably the most competitive division next to the NFC East. You had New Orleans with the league MVP on the offensive side, Drew Brees, and they were 8-8.
Last place.
All they needed was a little defense. Then you had Tampa, who was 9-3 going into the last month of the season, and then and defense was playing great most of the year.
Yep.
And then the last month of the season, something happened. John Gruden's, maybe Raheem Morris will get them straight. Carolina, they had the little thunder and lightning situation going with Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. And then they get in the playoffs and, you know, lay an egg.
Yep.
And then the Falcons, Mm-hmm. 11-5, Matt Ryan. Let's see what happens with
Who'da
them.
thunk?
Who'da thunk that the Falcons would have did anything there? We know about the NFC North with the Bears, Vikings, Packers, and so on.
That's the other division.
I think right now, coming out of the NFC,
Drum roll.
you know, if you look at teams that really have an opportunity to turn things around, New York Giants, I think if they come back in free agency and get a big-time wide receiver, look for them to play for Anquan Bolden. Now that Plaxico's in his hot water, if they can get a guy to come in, because think about what happened once Plaxico left. Eli really didn't have no targets to throw to. And I think because of that, people were able to put 8 in the box and really key on the Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I think that's what shut down.
And a whole lot of people don't know Antoine Bolden was a college quarterback.
The other thing
Florida
is
State.
Hugh Manure will be back on the defensive line for them. I think, was it Kiwanuka, or they lost another lineman this year.
Yes.
You know, so I think
And Tyree, David Tyree.
David Tyree, right.
He got hurt.
Look for the Giants. Another team that I think Carolina, they've got probably maybe one more year in terms of their window of opportunity.
All right.
You know, and
Michael
then-
Vick coming out. He coming out of college.
So who would touch the dog biter?
I'd give him a try.
Now that's a good question. Where would you put him?
The quarterback.
You would take Michael Vick 2 years removed from playing football.
Yeah, because he sit back and study the game. He didn't see somebody had been in his ear.
Oh.
Trust me.
Oh, I don't think I agree with you. Not for a minute did he sit down there.
I think he better than one of y'all got up there in Minnesota.
Now, brings me to my
Finale.
My finale. If the Minnesota Vikings make a play for Matt Castle from the New England Patriots, look for them.
That would be the worst mistake they made.
I agree with you on that because you know who Matt Castle is?
A backup.
That's Rob Johnson. Remember Rob Johnson?
Yep.
Rob Johnson made his name, I think, was he with the Jaguars? Mm-hmm. And then he played 1 year backup for, what's your guy's name, the lefty?
Brunell.
Mark Brunell. Rob Johnson made his name in Jacksonville the same way Castle did, and Buffalo Bills paid him all that money, and he went up there and stunk up the field.
Yep.
And he never was the same after that. I agree with you. If Matt Castle does the same thing.
I mean, y'all should. I mean, go after Vic. Don't give him a whole lot of money. Just give him, basic salary and stuff. Give him a try.
If I pick Michael Vick up, I'm sticking Michael Vick in the Wildcat formation. He would be perfect to run the Wildcat formation. If you think about teams like how Miami runs it and these other teams that run that Wildcat formation.
I look for him to go to Dallas.
You know, Dallas has become the new Oakland, so. But football season 2008, 2009. Let me find the football season. Ball it up.
Yeah, you want to ball the wrong piece of
Right on
paper.
up. You can't read, But that's the football season. We're done with it. It's all over with. And speaking of all over with, as Big Wayne talked about earlier, fighting line out jump shots. Done.
Yeah,
They can't shoot. They can't hit the ocean from the beach right now.
they're on a 3-game jump shot bad streak.
Now, they went to Wisconsin last night and played against a wounded badger, and they say the old saying, never mess with an injured animal.
Yep.
And they went up there and didn't read the sign. They said, do not feed the badger. And they stuck their hand out and they got bit off. Wisconsin 63, Illinois 50, and Fighting Illini are 6-4 in the Big Ten, and they're in a nice log jam, but sitting between Michigan State, who's sitting at the very top at 8-2, and them Hoosiers at the very bottom at 1-8, 1-9.
They got their first win,
Yeah, beat Iowa.
and they stormed the court. Like they were.
When you storm the court for your first victory, you know it's a lean.
The last victory I had was December 10th.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long drought.
That's almost 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah, that is long. I wouldn't have stormed the court. I might have gingerly walked out there.
But saying about your Fighting Illini, what I've noticed in the last couple games, the jump shot's not working. So, I mean, I'm not a basketball guru. You even played under great Lee Kabuti and all that. But if your jump shot ain't working, put the ball down, put your head down, and head toward the cylinder.
Well, that is probably
Minnesota done it. When Minnesota played Illinois, and jump shots weren't working, what happened?
they went to the hoop.
Foul.
I think one of the things that has happened, if you look at the makeup of the team, and I think, a lot of people, that's great advice, and I agree with you, but let's look at the makeup of the team. Who's going to put it on the floor? Because can we make a shot? That's really the question. Whether it be putting it on the floor or shooting a three-pointer or shooting a jump shot. Illinois shot 36% last night from the field. When they played Minnesota, they shot about 30% from the field. And when they played Iowa at home, they shot 30% in the first half. So the question is not whether you go to the hoop or shoot the jump shot. The question is, can they make a shot?
Yeah. Wait, jump shot?
A shot.
Yeah. I mean, Chester Frazier could drive to the hole. I watched him 3 or 4 times go to the basket and kick it out. Why not lay it up right there? McCamey, he can take you off the dribble. Davis can take you off the dribble. Keller can take you off the dribble.
You all right?
It's got, I mean, then you got a 7'2" guy sitting out here shooting 15, 16-foot jump shots. Lord have mercy. Back in the day, you played basketball, your coach go crazy, wouldn't he?
Man,
He'd throw his uniform at him.
he would meet him at half court and walk him to the bench with him shooting him 17-foot jumper. Here's what I believe is happening. You talk about putting it on the floor, taking the hoop. Think back early in the season. A lot of transition buckets were going on.
Yep.
And those easy buckets.
And they're playing cupcake teams.
They play, not only cupcake teams, but here's the other thing. When you're playing transition basketball and you get some easy buckets, you don't expend as much energy as a team.
Yeah.
But when you have to come down in your half-court set and you got to move, do your bruise.
Move, Chester, move, Chester, move.
When you hear that,
I see him at the free throw line, the 3-man weave right there, and the other 2 down low, like looking at him.
like it's the Globetrotter.
Like tennis match or something.
You watching Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal and them do their thing. And that's an old reference for Globetrotter fans, because I know a lot of young fans.
And the thing about I think now, they think they doo-doo don't stink. They 17. They playing above the head first of all, and they got all these wins, so they feel, oh, we back where we were.
Right.
And teams are coming in and knocking them off.
Well,
They playing man-to-man defense. Ain't nobody playing no zone. What are they going to zone up for? They passing up. Chester Frazier passing up jumps. He hit it. Yeah, he shot a 3 last week at the buzzer at halftime. It didn't count.
Right, and that's it. Well, I think the other thing you talked about, the defense itself, but we're going to go back to the phone lines, 328-8287. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Hey.
They think they do those things, man. And since, like you said, this is a team that everybody's catching up with us. And they're not making shots. As soon as the shots start falling, because if you look at the game last night, they out-rebounded Wisconsin 43-32.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Illinois shot 32%.
Yeah.
They had 12 turnovers. That's why they lost the game, man. And with all that said, they still gave up 63 points. 18 to 1 guy, 1 point to 1 guy. And that swept that game like against Wisconsin. 12 turnovers in a running game, that's like 20. So if you're shooting 32% and you turn the ball over 12 times, you're not getting ready to get a shot up. You know what I'm saying? So I think one thing, like you said earlier, go to the hole, draw some fouls, get to the free throw line. Once they figure that out, they'll be all right. Because all the other teams are still there. The team play, the defense. As you can see last night, they improved their rebound a little bit. But, once they start hitting the top, that used to be all right.
I think one of the things that I've observed, Bud talked about them teams are manning up on them, not even playing zone. I think one of the things I've observed is that defensively, they're still playing solid defense in terms of scoring defense, but they're not turning the other teams over at the rate that they were turning them over early. And as I was telling Bud, when you get those transition buckets early in the game, it gives you a shot of adrenaline. But the other thing it does is the entire team is not expending all that energy on offense, because when you get breakout buckets, maybe only 1 or 2 guys are really out on the fast break. When you have to go into your half-court set and everybody's got to run around for 30 seconds before the shot is taken, you're expending a lot of energy.
That's true.
The other thing that in terms of the energy factor is that when you're playing these teams that you have to chase, tired legs means short jump shots. Trent Meacham was the one that was guarding Bohannon last night. Mm-hmm. And he had, you know, and that's the point is that think about what he's been doing since Indiana. Not a thing. He's only shooting about 30% from the field, but that's because he's had to play defense.
Top-notch player.
And when you go against somebody who can score just as well as you can, and you got to expend as much energy on the defensive end, coming off of screens, fighting off of them, now you got to go back down and run the screen yourself. Jump shots come up a little bit short, and then going to the bucket is not as appealing because if you go to the hole hard and you don't score, you got 94 feet to get back on your own man.
And another thing, you know, this goes, you know, earlier in the season, the whole film, they was on McCamey. You know, last night was one of those games where McCamey could have got selfish and took the bulk of the shot because he's the only one that's kept one-on-one if you guys do.
Yep.
You know, he's the only one that's capable of getting to the bucket. So I think if the town, he's probably playing a little slower than what he should be playing just because of the newspaper writings, the TVs, everybody talking about how bad of a player he's been or whatever. Last night was one of those nights he could have took off the game and just basically went to the hole every time.
Well, he should. Well, he should have.
Ain't nobody kick out too because he can take it up and Chester won't shoot and we can fly him back to Blue Dad playing.
No. Oh, no, y'all wanted him.
No.
Yeah, you.
No, don't say me.
I got your name. I got your signature on a document.
No, don't say me.
I'll show you this. I will show you the document.
I don't even know the dude. I don't even know how he plays. First of all, he was doing just fine before the school game. And Joe posed the question on every show we did when Lee would come, how did this fit in? My thing was, he needs to slow down and fit into the team and don't try to be the man. I answer that question every time Joe asks. Have I not?
That's the mentality he coming out of high school. See, he been in high school, he been in prep school, and him and old boy from Michigan State, they were the stars. So he go down to Kentucky, and he think he a star, but Billy Gillespie tell him something different. You just a player on a basketball team, and he could not take that. So he said, it's either Illinois or Michigan, and Bruce Weber said, I take it, come on over here.
Honestly, I think they're better shooting for all the jump shots and threes they think, because that's more the ride on the team ball team. I don't think, as of right now, he has no place on the team. He can't play defense. He won't rebound. And I seen him shoot 2 air balls last night.
Well, I will say this about Legion, and you talk about the what was he, 1 for 8 last night, shooting and the 2 air balls. The stat you mentioned earlier about rebounding, out-rebounded Wisconsin, I think that stat gets skewed in the fact when you're shooting, 2 for 18, 2 for 19 from.
Yeah, 17 offensive rebounds.
Right. Now, and here's the thing. Chester Frazier, 13 rebounds last night.
6 foot. Mike Tisdale, no rebound.
Right, and that's my point, is that rebound, that number can be skewed today because of the long caroms that you get on three-point shots. What I think they need to do, if you go back to when they were having their success early this season, we talked about the defensive side, but on the offensive end, the ball went through Mike Davis early. Early in the season, he got a lot of touches, and he got a lot of easy buckets around the basket where he was moving. Now the offensive philosophy has been Dimitri starts the game off with a 3 or a jump shot, and then they get it into Tisdale, and it's those two guys. And that Mike Davis is one of those guys, if you watch it, if his offense isn't going,
his defense ain't going.
Coach Weber has admitted over and over that if Mike Davis doesn't get any touches early in the game, so you would think as a coach that you would make a forced effort to get him the ball early in the game.
Right.
I mean, he sees it, he comes out after the game and reports it. Do it in the game, give him the ball early.
Well, now I'm looking at, you talk about Legion, we talked about Davis, Tisdale, but we didn't talk about a guy who in the last 4 games probably been the most consistent player, and that's Dominic Keller.
Yeah.
When you look at right now going into the stretch run, who do you play and who do you sit?
Woo.
I mean,
Right now, I mean, Mitchell is getting both in minutes and not producing. I would say Mitchell. Because you can get, whenever you get Mitchell, you can get out of Calvin Brown. So go ahead and you let Keller get most of those minutes and just let Brock get most of Mitchell's minutes.
so who would you put Keller in for?
Ooh, probably Mitchell, because I can see Keller's a good enough ball handler to play the three, but as far as getting out, playing defense on the feet, that would be a Dodgy problem. But, I mean, like I said, Mitchell is able to do anything. I mean, a guy that probably, how much go ahead and average? He put up 20 points in without a hard effort, man. He's just shooting jump shots.
Right, he made 6 threes and 2 free throws.
Right, I mean,
Then missed the
right.
dunk.
Right. Now,
He was on defense last night.
well, the way I'm looking at it right now, because I think you got here's my final belief on what's happening with him. You got tired legs. You got tired legs on some young thoroughbreds. You're talking about Tisdale. You're talking about Davis. I think Legion basketball just like dancing. If you don't have any rhythm, you really look bad when you're out there on the floor.
Yep.
And he has no rhythm in his game. I don't know if Rich Simrau, if he went in and punched Coach Weber or somebody in the face, but he needs to get on the floor, not for scoring. But I think what he does is you got to start getting Simrau and Cole and some of those guys in just to get those tired legs an opportunity to get a break.
What's wrong with C.J. Jackson?
See, I mean, you can take those. There's 15 fouls with Jackson, Simrau, and Cole that you can throw out there. They may not produce on the offensive end. Well, I mean, if he gives you 1 minute, though, he's a big body. I'm just throwing out what you can start doing to give guys like Davis and Tisdale and Keller some relief on that baseline, because the more work that they have to do on both ends of the court, the production on the offensive end, as we've seen, is going to go down. And then the final thing, out on the offensive end of the court, I think he might want to put in an edict that no three should be shot within the first 3 possessions, where they have to take, as you and Bun said, the ball's got to go either into the post or a penetration move for our first 3 possessions, just to set the tone of the game.
You got to.
Once you get into that comfort zone of fading away and shooting threes, et cetera, the defense built, you shoot that first jumper and you miss it, your confidence level drops, defense confidence level goes up, different game.
3 weeks ago, you asked the question. When Illinois was on, you asked the question, how do you stop Illinois? And I specifically said, if you stop their perimeter, you shut down their whole game. And that's what's been, even against Iowa, they didn't play a good game against Iowa. They should have
No.
won that game. And like I said, if you shut down their perimeter, you stop Illinois.
Well, we'll see Sunday, 12 o'clock, Purdue comes into town after losing to Ohio State the other night. So they're 7-3, Illinois 6-4. You got really, like I said, with Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Illinois, and who else would we? You basically got about 5 or 6 teams in a log jam, and then you got Michigan State sitting up top. You know, this is going to be crucial right now, because after Illinois plays Purdue on Sunday, we get what, Penn State
Yep.
coming into town?
I think
Look,
so.
let me turn around. No, we're on the road at Northwestern, at Indiana, and then Penn State comes here. Then we go to Ohio State. So 3 of the next 4 games are on the road. And they haven't won but 1 road game this year. You want to win the Big Ten title.
And Northwestern ain't gonna be no easy win.
None of those, even the Indiana game is not going to be
Oh,
easy
they
to
beat
win.
Indiana. Come on, man.
It's not saying they're not going to beat.
reach over there to smack you.
Now, wait a minute. Just like you said the Oakland Raiders is going to be the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I would say Indiana is not going to be an easy victory.
Yeah, it is.
You might win. If you keep shooting 36% from the field,
Well, Indiana shooting 12%.
look, Iowa went to Indiana and got beat. Illinois struggled.
Who
with
is Iowa?
Illinois just struggled with them.
Okay.
That's my point. You'd have said who was Iowa in January, I'd have said nobody.
Let's talk about the Big East.
Let's say you tired of talking about it. Well, Big Wayne, we appreciate you calling in, man. Hit us anytime. Tell it like it is. You talk about the Big East. I ain't gonna talk about the Big East.
All right,
We'll talk about the Big East
don't
some
talk
other
about
time.
him.
We're gonna talk about the NBA before we get out.
Here he is. You got Georgetown, with the top 25 and 9th in the Big East.
But you know what it is? Georgetown like Wisconsin. They're a good team that caught the
Bad plague.
and once they caught it, slid on down. Before we get out of here, man, we ain't talking about NBA all year. All-Star break is next week. And the
Yeah.
reason why I wanted to talk about it is the Celtics and the Lakers are starting their rivalry all over again.
That was a good game last night.
Ooh. What was it? 111, 110,
Yep.
110, 109?
Yep, 110, 109.
But the thing that I liked about that particular game was not only was it close, but now they going back to the way they used to play ball. Folks getting each other face,
Yep.
finger pointing, shoving.
Because Gasol got in Kendrick's face a couple times.
Yeah.
You gotta leave that young man alone. That man don't look. He look crazy.
He don't look right.
So
Him not right.
Nope.
Him need help. But
Well, I'm not an NBA person, but I mean this year, to me, it's 3 teams in the rest of the league.
ooh, 3 teams in the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Who was that?
You got Boston.
Mm-hmm.
You got Cleveland, and the Lakers.
And you think that's it?
I mean, all right. You got the Hornets.
Right.
Hornets good. They ain't the team. They can't hang with them. Orlando,
Right.
good team right now. Get them in the series. Now you might beat me today, but what about tomorrow and the day after?
Yeah.
These teams are not built. Now the only team that might challenge the Lakers in the West is San Antonio. Cause I mean, ain't nobody talking about the Spurs, but they slowly hitting that roll again. They winning ugly.
Let me tell you right now about the Spurs.
I know they old,
How old are they?
older than you.
Right. They so old. They was there when Moses brought them tablets down.
Well-
the Spurs is old. That team.
Sometimes you need Moses on your side.
Well, they gonna need somebody to part the Red Sea.
Jesus on their
right.
side.
Let me tell you right now, in the West, look out for the Denver Nuggets. Now that Carmelo's back, last 3 games, 28 points a game. That's the team.
If
that
you look
out
at
for.
to me, if you look at it about Portland, but the Lakers,
Portland's too young. They don't have enough.
it's the Lakers out west, and then in the east it's Cleveland and Boston. That's ain't but 3 teams in NBA.
But here's the thing.
In my eyesight. Now, anybody wrong, you can email me and tell me about it. Look,
See if you see any of them other teams. Put them up.
man, I see about 5 teams they're gonna put in a couple years.
I bet you see Did you see Dr. J?
Yeah.
Bill Russell. I think you saw Red Auerbach when you put them on.
So then,
I agree with you in the East. There's probably just a couple of teams. Orlando with Jameer Nelson down. They traded for Tyronn Lue, but he's not a point guard that's going to lead you to the promised land.
Nope.
The other teams in the East, there's really no other team out there that's going to do anything. I think in the West, though,
could be
you brought up San Antonio.
detour way.
Nah, because AI, you got issues with him. So, I think Detroit, they're done. That team is cooked. Watch for this though, because we just got a minute left on the show. But watch for this in the NBA. Always around right after the All-Star break, a big name superstar gets moved to a contender.
Yeah. Trade deadline February 19th.
Well, watch for Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady to be moved to one of these contending teams. I think if you can get Vince Carter moved to New Orleans, that makes New Orleans a top team right there.
Good.
Now, before we get on out of here, Michael Phelps found out why he swims so fast.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't that stuff?
They didn't leave that man alone. That man having a good time. He a kid.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Whoever took the picture should have been whooped.
But you know what? Here's the bigger issue, and I'm glad you brought that up. Public figures don't have private lives anymore.
That's true.
Whether it was Matt Leinart in the hot tub or Michael Phelps trying to get his Frosted Flakes
And one of
on,
his boys, if they seen the cameraman in there, they should have went and grabbed the camera.
I guarantee it was one of his boys that took the picture.
Yeah,
That's
I'ma
off
give
the
me
old
some money.
camera phone.
I'm gonna give me some money.
Well, we appreciate you checking us out on UPTV. Tell it like it is. Every Friday, 8 o'clock. Myself and Big Bun. Big Wayne was under the weather, but he was able to call in. But check us out Sunday, WCFN, at 6 o'clock every other Sunday. We'll be on this Sunday. You'll be able to see part of the Super Bowl party and what we did on Super Bowl Sunday.
You ready? Let's go.